Yeehaw! A bunch of new entry-level contracts have officially been inked, and we are continuing our journey through the new Flames era.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Locked On Flames. As always, I am your host, Jess Belmosto, and thank you so much for joining me today. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. Today, we are going to be talking about the recently inked entry-level contracts for 3 of the Flames draft picks. And dive into some RFA talk, because believe it or not, the Flames still have some work to do when it comes to their signings. And we're going to wrap up the show today with our winners and losers of the week, because it has been quite the week. But before we dive into all that, please make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. We are here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your team every day. So today, the Flames development camp has been going on through the week, and we had some contract signings today. Zayne Parekh, Gridin, and were the 2 from this year, 2 draft picks from this year that ended up signing, and that's great. It's great that they want to get the show on the road here with the Flames, and we're going to talk more about that as well here in just a moment. And the Flames also signed 2023 draft pick Etienne Morin, who, like I said, was drafted last season. And this is an exciting time. I mean, this whole offseason has been very exciting for the Flames. And obviously they have the roster that they're working with now and what they want to currently do in order to take those next steps to integrate these younger guys and really make it a success. And this isn't an easy task. I think that Craig Conroy really has hit the ball out of the park, and it's his job to do this. So I feel like it shouldn't be a surprise, I guess. I mean, I guess I am surprised, but that's because I thought that some of the trades were kind of meh. But, there's just a whole lot that the Flames need to do, and Conroy has his work cut out for him, and he has been trudging through the trenches to bring us to the light at the end of the tunnel. Gridin was reportedly going to play at Michigan this season, as he had committed there, but then it turned out that he wasn't going to be academically eligible due to grades. But he said the signing had nothing to do with that, and he didn't really comment any further. I mean, do we need to dive into that anymore? No. So he will not be playing at Michigan this year. Obviously, once tenure ELC takes that out of the equation. I think this is exciting. It's good stuff. It is more good stuff to add to the Flames offseason, because you want guys that want to be here. We talk about that all the time here. And they're eager to get their career started, and I'm sure they're hungry for it. There's still room to grow, of course, but they're taking that first step, and the offer wouldn't be on the table from the Flames if they didn't feel like extending it, I guess. I think that right now the Flames are still in an interesting position. They currently have the most cap space in the league, so I'm waiting for them to be a third team in a really bad trade so we can acquire some draft picks and turn them into something or package them in another trade, whatever the case may be. But like, it's exciting to see things start to trend in a good direction. Like, this is not an immediate fix. We know this. None of these players are going to slot into the lineup first game of the season and just like magically like fix this team. Unfortunately, the team is a little too far gone. And you have to be an upper echelon player to be that. And we know the Flames are working on acquiring a player or two like that. It's good to start funneling in the pieces you need to fix and to solve the puzzle, to finish the puzzle, because you can't hold off as long as you can, because I feel like you're kind of seeing that now with the Flames blue line prospects. Like, there's not much there. Are there players on the Wranglers that could play at the NHL level? Sure. I mean, Solovyov played a few games. Kuznetsov played a few games, but like, they couldn't stick. And I don't think that is necessarily a bad thing, but you kind of you need someone to just, you don't need to be NHL ready by any means. We know that this stuff takes time, but you need to be showing some promise. And I feel like there is a much higher upside with players like Hunter Brustowicz and, of course, Zayne Parekh. And we're going to talk more about some of these players coming up here next on Locked On Flames. And we will be right back after this. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you are burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available for U.S. customers. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. You can find the show wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. We're here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week. Your team every day. With time comes arbitration. This isn't something that happens for every player, obviously. Some teams and players are able to come to an agreement without an arbitrator. And the Flames had two players that were arbitration eligible, and that is Ilya Solovyov and Adam Klapka. Neither filed for it, which is typically a good thing. I mean, arbitration isn't bad. Like, get your money and plead your case. But at the same time, like, we have seen it create strained relationships with organizations and players. And I feel like you're kind of seeing that play out in certain RFAs that remain unsigned. So the two that were eligible for the Flames didn't file, which probably means that, those extensions are coming. And it's not necessarily going to take a middleman to get these agreements done. But also, like, going to arbitration isn't necessarily a bad thing, because sometimes a team will lowball you and it's just kind of like, what the heck? And then other times a player might really overvalue themselves or, think they're worth a lot more than what there can be a large discrepancy in numbers because, hey, you see what your competitors are making and who your comparables are, and maybe you want to be making more on their pay scale versus something lower. And I think for Adam Klapka and Solo, you don't need to put a whole lot of I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. I don't think you need to put a whole lot of like stock into them, like not signing yet. I don't think that's an issue. I don't think either of them are going to request a trade either. And I don't think anyone's going to do an offer sheet for them. So Flames can keep on trucking. I feel like Solo has a lot more to prove to the Flames before they start throwing things at him. And that's fine. I mean, he isn't necessarily like your youngest prospect by any means, but he definitely is in need of taking that next step. And I don't know if the Flames are really willing to, like, I don't know how much longer they're willing to wait around for that. Okay, so he's 23. In my brain, he was a lot older. I thought he was like 26 or 27. So I guess it feels like this is age appropriate. Should probably be taking further steps in his game, but is not. And so the Flames are, I have a very difficult time believing that he will be, signing like a long-term deal. I don't think that that's necessarily something the Flames are interested in doing. I'm trying to pull up Adam Klapka's page, but it would be super cool if that loaded. But not all of your players are like bound to be NHL players. And I think the Flames have learned this. I think they have learned that a lot with their draft picks. Adam Klapka is also 23 years old. He's made some really good strides in terms of making a spot for himself on the Flames, but I want to see more from him, and he's a big guy, and we all know how much the Flames love their big players, and I want and expect more out of these two this season, especially if both of them are looking for longer term deals. You could probably sign another bridge deal, 3 years. And I feel like right now that's like the most that you should give them. Like, keep the leash short. You don't need to put all your eggs in one basket again. Like, you still have time. And I don't think the ship has sailed, but how much longer are you going to wait, sort of deal. And I like what both of them brought to the game. I think that Klapka, he's a big guy. He takes up a lot of space and he does his job. And I don't know if it's necessarily worth keeping him in the NHL, if this makes sense. Because I feel like the Wranglers could really benefit from having him, and I feel like there may be more depth and talent that is consistent for the Flames. And that's not anything rude or anything like purposely like malicious towards Klapka. That's just where I see his game. And Solo, just like, they need to give him time to like stick. And I wonder if playing with a player like Rasmus Andersson or Mackenzie Weegar would do him well. Like, you don't have to play him 18 minutes a night, but to get him up and playing at that elite level would be incredibly beneficial to his development. And I want to see more from both of them. And I don't think the Flames would put all their eggs in one basket. I mean, they signed Sharon Govish's 5-year deal, rather. So they're not handing these things out, these long-term contracts out like candy, which is good. You know, it feels like it's, I'm trying to think of the right word. It feels like the opposite of a few summers ago when, you know, these ridiculous contracts were being handed out, no movement clauses for everyone across the board. And it feels like there's a concrete plan. And Craig Conroy is driving this ship and directing it exactly how he wants. But speaking of other RFAs that the Flames need to sign, Jacob Pelletier is also ready for a new contract. And Dustin Wolf. I think, obviously, Dustin Wolf is the priority. Where and when this happens, I don't know. Obviously, he is in town this week for development camp and was also at the Stampede Parade, representing the Flames with a few of the other guys, which is pretty neat, or representing the Wranglers, I'm sorry. But I think that this is something that obviously gets done. Not arbitration eligible, so kind of saves the Flames a little bit of a headache there too. The kid's ready for the NHL. I was talking with some people like AHL reporters, and they all wish they had Dustin Wolf. And they said, you know, he has nothing left to prove in the AHL except maybe winning a Calder, but like the NHL is calling him. So I'm hopeful for this. I don't think this is going to be anything that like truly drags out like a Kachuk extension. And no one's being held hostage. So we'll see there. And Jacob Pelletier, I would assume, gets like a 1 or a 2 year deal. I absolutely adore what he brings to the locker room, vibes wise and personality. But he needs to take a step in his game. And this year was another setback for him. And that truly stinks because he is a solid skater. When he's on a hot streak, he's hot. And I think the biggest issue here is his inconsistency. And that really stinks because he is such a fun player to have around. And, you know, you want good things for him. So we're going to have to see and wait this out because I don't necessarily think this is going to be a very long process. I think it might be longer for Pelletier just because they might want different things. But again, I can't see anyone offer sheeting either of them. So we'll just have to wait and see. But coming up next, we are going to talk about the winners and losers of the week here on Locked On Flames. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out with me today and making Locked On Flames part of your day. You can follow me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto. I was trying to think of winners and losers of the week because I feel like this has been a very long week. I really do think that the holidays, you know, Canada or US, like I feel like that just throws everything off a little bit. But my winners of the week, let's start with anyone that is going to the Stampede this week or however long it lasts. It always looks like so much fun. Like there's so much to do and just enjoy yourself and like thoroughly like embrace and enjoy summer. We don't have anything like that here. So it's definitely like a case of like fear of missing out and living vicariously through your Instagram posts, your Instagram stories. I remember a few years ago, the Flames, after they had won the playoff game, I forget. I'm pretty sure it was against the Stars. The end of the series, they ended up going out to, I believe it's called Cowboys, and just being like absolute like menaces to society, but like in the best way possible. And I hope everyone enjoys themselves. I want to see everyone having fun, wear your sunblock, and just take pictures, enjoy the moment. My other winner of the week are these basketball players signing for lots of money. Jason Tatum just signed like a supermax contract for, I think it was like $314 million. That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. But you know, it's cool to see players get paid, and I don't think the NHL will ever get to that point, but hopefully we do continue to see the cap rise and just keep on trucking, grow the game. Not sure the Fanatics jerseys are necessarily going to do that, but we will see. My losers of the week are the Buffalo Sabres. So yesterday or the day before at development camp, they had a fan shout, "Kevin, make a trade." And he sure made a trade. He ended up trading like one of their top prospects, Savoy, to the Oilers for Ryan McLeod. I don't necessarily think that Ryan McLeod is like a horrible player or like, but I do feel like Buffalo got fleeced because this is just like a cap dump. The Oilers are in cap hell. So for the Sabres to like do them a favor like this, like I don't even know if Kevin Adams realized the favor he did. I don't see the Sabres really ever like digging themselves out of this hole with Kevin Adams in charge. I feel like this is very much like a similar Tree Living situation where you need someone to come in and move like and like turn the page, because Buffalo's never going to make it back to the playoffs. But with any of this, you know, you do need NHL ready players, like that's no doubt, but like, why are you clearing out your cupboards for people? You know, it'd be different. I was gonna say it'd be different if it was like the Jack Eichel trade. No, they were looking to trade him, but you know, like there are players on certain teams that are just untouchable, but I don't think that Ryan McLeod is worth giving like your first round, like top 10 draft pick. Just an opinion. I mean, maybe there's something they see or something they know that we don't. And that's, you know, regardless, there are a lot of bad general managers in the NHL. And I think like there are genuinely some people on hockey Twitter who could do a heck of a better job. Definitely listen to Locked On Oilers for you know, Nick's reaction to that. And with that, Nick has taken over the Oilers show full time, so it is just me hosting these days, and will probably remain that way unless something changes. But I guess that counts as loser of the week. I'm the loser of the week here. But no, I do wonder. I'm very glad. Like, this is the start for the Flames. Like, we are at the very beginning of a marathon right now, and things are looking good. Buffalo is like going like a mile and like going back 3. Like, they're not. It does not feel like they are making progress at the speed that they should be. And same thing with Ottawa. Like, those two, I feel like I don't know. I think like a lot of things. I might win the lottery before either team makes the postseason again. But this is just the joy of watching people make decisions. Going from Edmonton to Buffalo could be a lot worse. Going to Buffalo to Edmonton I don't know if it gets worse than that. But that will do it for me on today's episode of Locked On Flames. Thank you all so much for tuning in and making Locked On Flames part of your day. You can find Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. We are here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your team every day. And I will see you all on Monday, where hopefully we have some Dustin Wolf news.